Hey folks, a company that I have reviewed guitars for in the past reached out to me and wanted me to review a couple of their models, and it is the company Jaymz. You might remember I think a Union Jack. Was it a Les Paul or a Strat model? I can't remember which one it was, but it was a Union Jack finished one. I think it was the Les Paul. I think I've done one of their entry-level electrics and also an acoustic guitar, a rather nice looking acoustic guitar that I had problems with because I bought it as a second, as a scratch and dent. So the company has sent me a new version of that guitar to give it a more fair review. So as I did for Mirio and forget the name of the other company that sent me an instrument for review, I'm going to do sort of an immediate impressions video, and then I'll do another follow-up video after I do a setup on the guitar. I think I'm going to make that my practice. So reviews, the guitars that come to me for review are going to get sort of a two-step deal. So this guitar the model number is AGSR9S. And it goes for $299, and I'm going to show you, not an unboxing, but I'm going to show you from the beginning. You get it in a gig bag like this, which is actually a really nice gig bag. It's got plenty of padding, backpack straps. That's already a plus for me. Companies that send gig bags with their guitars, or they've got guitars packed in gig bags when they're shipped, that's a big plus for me. I think more companies should be doing that. So when I get the guitar out, you'll recognize it if you watch my videos right away, because I've had this model on before. And it's kind of this jumbo-esque shaped body with the armrest bevel right here. Really pretty looking guitar. Solid spruce top. And you probably remember that I didn't like that flame abalone / gold flame job down the fretboard. However, my contact at Jaymz has told me that this is rather unpopular with a lot of their customers, so they're getting rid of it on their new models. So the new models won't have this, and also they're going to make this into an electric acoustic, from what I hear. So this will have probably a preamp and a piezo under saddle pickup, I would imagine, or something similar to that. So this is a brand new version. It sells for $299, which is reflective of the fact that it is a solid spruce top guitar with rosewood back and sides. There's the rosewood, really nice rosewood back and sides guitar. Fully bound, abalone on the top, nice sort of cream purfling. This looks to be a piece of rosewood bevel here. Slightly different figure than the back, but obviously the grain runs a different way, probably for strength, so it doesn't split. What looks to be a rosewood board and saddle with this rather garish inlay that's going away. Nice volute on the back of the neck here, which is a mahogany neck. Rather standard tuners, but nicely sort of fluted shaped tuners. Very, very sort of ergonomic, slick design. Probably not really any upgrade on your standard tuners, just a slightly different button design here than what you see on most guitars. What looks to be abalone rosette and double purfled around the abalone. So it is a very handsome guitar. And now when I got it, the fret ends are not sharp at all. They're pretty well beveled. However, probably in a couple of days when this acclimatizes, I will feel a slight protrusion, and I'll probably have to do a little bit of beveling, just nick off the burrs of the frets. But that is normal. That's something that I do on Guilds, on Alvarez, on pretty much anything that comes to me. I normally have to do some sort of fret end bevel job. Sometimes it's very, very subtle, and I just sort of take a 3-cornered file and round off the edges, smooth them out. Sometimes they pronounce out, and I have a much bigger job on my hands. But almost every guitar I have to do that, so that's not a knock on this guitar. I would say that of all the guitars I've had in the last couple of weeks, this is probably the best as far as fret and protrusion goes. But it just got here yesterday, so it still could shrink a little bit more as this acclimatizes to my area. That's something that you should always take into consideration when playing a guitar for the first time. It needs a few days, and reviewers don't always give it a few days. The other first impression that I get with this guitar is that the strings are a bit dead, particularly the E and A. Just a little bit dull, a little bit dead sounding. So I'm not sure how long these strings have been sitting on this guitar, or how long this guitar has been warehoused. Often that is a key sign. Sometimes when you get rusty or slightly dead strings, the guitar's just been sitting for a while. Most players, if they're experienced, rip off the strings and put their own set on anyway. So the strings that a guitar comes with are really not that big of an issue, because most people are going to replace them with their favorite brand. The folks whom it will be an issue for more are beginners who don't know how to restring a guitar, so they're probably going to go with these strings for a while, but they won't really notice the tonal differences because their ears are not sensitive to qualitative guitar sounds. So this will sound, as you learn your chords, this will sound just fine. But I noticed that there's a little dullness on the bottom two strings, so as part of my setup for another video, I will put a fresh set of strings on this guitar. And also the action is actually really quite good. I might lower it just a touch. I think it's sitting somewhere around 6 millimeters on the high E at the 12th fret. I'd like to see that around 5. So I might lower it a bit. The neck is dead straight actually, and that's the problem I had on the other one of these that I got, is that it had some slight warpage, but I did buy it as a second. So this is a brand new guitar out of the box, and I haven't done anything to it. I'm giving you my assessment of the guitar. Now, sometimes you get these very, very pretty guitars, very handsome guitars, even solid top guitars, that have issues in the mechanics. I don't see anything glaring in this particular one. Of course, I have to see how it settles in the next couple of days. But as I said, the frets seem to be very good. The neck is straight. The action is playable, if I might adjust it just a little bit. Everything seems to be tickety-boo with this guitar. There's no pull-up on the bridge. There's no damage or seams or openings or cracks or fissures or anything like that. It is in mint condition. And I think one of the reasons why it's so clean is because they send it in a really decent box with that padded gig bag, which cuts down on any chance that it might get bruised or nicked or dinged in shipping. So that's a really good sign for a company that does that. It has a very handsome abalone strip down the back of the Rosewood back here. Yeah, it's impressive. It's a really nice guitar. The spruce, the grain on the top is straight. It's a nice piece of, seems to be a nice piece of spruce. It's, probably say thicker graduated than really high-end guitars, but this spruce will open up. It will resonate over time. The thing about these guitars, when you get them, is they're a bit tight. They're not used to being at full tension. Often they're newly made, or they've been sitting around a while, and the more you play them, the more they open up, and the more that they you discover the true character of the guitar. I think this will be a pretty popular shape for a lot of people. People do like the cutaway, and you'll notice that it has a gently sloping Venetian cutaway here, slightly different than some guitars that are more rounded, cup-shaped. Here, this is more of a slope shoulder cutaway, which is really nice. Easy to get to these top frets. The neck feels really good. It is a gloss neck, and some people might want to scuff that up to get that more of a satin finish, and perhaps that's something that Leo Jaymz could consider for the upgrade model, is adding a matte finish just to the neck and leaving the rest gloss. It's what a lot of companies are doing. Yeah, I think the one thing I'm unhappy with the most with this guitar is it's a little blingy for me. I think it's got nice lines, nice wood. The design is nice, but I think they went overboard with this inlay here, which is sort of a mirror, a gold or brass mirror lined with abalone. I could see a kid liking that, but for a lot of people it's just going to be too much. And also, when you're playing a note, you're hitting that mirror more than you are the rosewood on the fretboard, so it might alter the tone a little bit. And of course, the abalone around the whole guitar, for me is a little bit much as well. I would probably go with a more traditional purfling and maybe leave the abalone on the rosette. The nuts cut really nice. The saddle looks really good. I'm not sure that this is bone. Actually, I think it's plastic, but that could be easily remedied. The headstock shape is kind of nice, kind of an interesting headstock shape. They've kind of gone for their own look on that. I like the lines, the way that it curves, the curvature, and the pronounced top here is really nice. A lot of companies do something similar, going for an asymmetrical look on that. And you're not really copying anyone else. You're just sort of doing your own thing, which I think is the way to go if you're going to design a guitar. Again, the back with the volute is really nice. Yeah, from receiving this guitar, I can't fault it, really. But there again, we do have to consider that this is a $300 guitar. I've seen them cheaper. I think the Amazon prices do fluctuate, but right now it's $299. And that's because you're getting a solid top guitar with rosewood back and sides, which is becoming more rare in the sub 250 category. You're just going to have to pay closer to 200, 300 for these kind of specs, it would seem. But also you're getting the really nice padded bag, which adds at least $45-50 worth of value. Those bags aren't cheap. If you go on Amazon and look for gig bags, which I do all the time, the padded ones can be quite expensive, and it's hard to find a good deal on them anymore. So when you get a nice one with the guitar that you buy, it just makes things better all around. So yeah, my impressions of this guitar are that it needs a little setup, but not as bad as a lot of guitars that I get. Just maybe a little bit lowering of the action, although I will let it sit a day or so to see if it moves any more. It might not need that at all. It probably will need a slight bit of beveling. I don't notice any buzzing when I play it, so there are no high frets or anything like that. But as with all guitars, let's say under 500 or even under 750, it has the usual things that you need to do to them to get them to play to the best of their ability, and that is just a setup, and there's no getting away from that. But what you've got here, the rudimentary elements seem really nice on this guitar. It's nicely designed. It looks good. It has some really nice features that you would see on higher end guitars, like this armrest bevel here that makes it really comfortable to play. It's very, very comfortable, actually. It's got slightly nicer, I've noticed, strap buttons than a lot of guitars at this price have. Yeah, I think they should add a preamp to this. This is definitely a guitar that would do well as an electric acoustic. The tone's not quite where I'd want it to be, but I think I'm hearing some dead strings on this. So I will put some fresh strings on this, do that little bit of setup, and do a follow-up video at some point. But anyway, this is a Leo Jaymz AGSR9S. Has a wood label inside the sound hole as well. So they've kind of gone to lengths to make it look like a higher-end guitar. Now the number in the, I'll just go with the one they've got online. They've got something like BYGENT or WT inside, so maybe there's a slight difference in model number, but the one that I see on the Amazon listing is AGSR9S. SR probably meaning Spruce Rosewood, I would think. It's not quite a full jumbo, and it's not quite a mini jumbo. It kind of sits in between. It has that shape. It's got pretty wide bottom end, much shorter top end, a nice pronounced waist, and that sort of sloped cutaway. So it, you know, it has a more original look. They're not just sort of looking to copy what other top acoustic guitar manufacturers are doing, and I applaud them for that. So in the future, I will probably also review a couple of their electric guitars, maybe some of their newer models that are coming out, and I will do the same thing. I will do an immediate assessment, and then I will also give it a chance to have a setup and see what the follow-up is. Alright folks, so yeah, you can get this guitar. I'll put the link on the description below. You can get this guitar for $2.99, and just remember that it's getting harder and harder to find solid spruce with rosewood instruments in this price range, and certainly with these kinds of accoutrements like the arm bevel here. If you can live with this inlay, you can get one now. If you want to wait and see what the new remodel looks like in the new year, maybe it'll be a bit plainer, a bit more classic looking. But anyway, there it is, Leo Jaymz. Alright folks, see you on the next one.